This the fella I was waiting on. Don DeRosa is in the yard. Well, welcome everybody to the Onsite Renovation Group. We are doing this on Facebook Live for the folks that can't join us, or if you want to watch back later. Because a lot of times we have a big crowd, you don't always get to hear all the answers and the questions that are asked. So if you enjoy what you see, you can watch it on our Facebook page, the Atlanta REIA Facebook page. We'll put up on the Onsite Facebook page as well. But the Onsite Renovation Group's been going on for a number of years. Aaron McGinnis started this group years ago. He was a contractor and did a lot of work for investors. And it's had several leaders since. Don and I took it over a year or so ago and really, really enjoyed it. This is quickly becoming one of our favorite groups because we like to rehab. A lot of you like to rehab or want to get into rehab. So it's a good chance for us to come out once a month and see different rehab projects. Whether it's one of our rehab projects, one of our members' rehab projects, one of your projects, this is what we do. So it may be in the beginning stages of rehab where maybe it's just through the demo phase. Could be halfway finished, could be have all the drywall on, could be fully finished, could be fully staged. And many times we'll go back and revisit some of these properties when they're completed. So maybe William will let us come back in a few months when he's all done.
Yeah, definitely.
And see the finished product. So if you're interested in learning more about rehab, this is a great event to come to because you'll not only learn from our successes, but also our failures, our mistakes. You'll hear all about permitting issues and contractor issues, things that can go wrong, things that go right. You'll see it all. And every rehab is a different project. This is the first time we've been to a pop-the-top rehab project. We've got one of these going on right now down in Tampa. We have an Onsite Renovation Group. They're meeting at our first fire-damaged house today down there. So we'll probably visit one of those sooner or later. But we like to gather here and ask our host lots of good questions. So this is a Networth Realty project. As I said, it's a pop-the-top project. I mistakenly said that I thought this was Manesh Hardeo's project. It's his company's project, but I thought he was personally rehabbing this one, and he's not. William here is. William, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, my name is William Hart. I'm with Networth Realty, and I can go past that, or?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is his personal rehab project. So as we get started, I'm going to ask you lots of good questions. We always usually start on the outside, and then we'll open it up and let the audience ask good questions.
Okay.
But
question I have is, how'd you pick this?
How'd I pick it?
Yeah,
so,
lots of activity on this street.
Oh yeah, this is a really good street, a really good area. It's in East Lake. So I focus mainly on my acquisitions are in Kirkwood and East Lake. I just understand the area. I think it's a conservative and it has value that you can come in, do renovations, and there's still money to be made. So purchasing this property specifically was actually for another investor that was with Networth. It was their first time buying. They were very hesitant, so I was trying to sell them through the numbers on it the whole way through. And by trying to sell them all the way through, I actually sold myself on it. So they backed out. They were doing soil sample tests. That's the degree to which they were trying to figure out if they wanted it or not. So all of my
was that required?
I'd never seen that before. They were paying $700 out of pocket to test the structure underneath the ground.
Was that wasn't required?
Oh no, not at all. I've never seen it before.
I mean, I see it when we do subdivisions.
Yes.
But that's usually for perk tests.
Yep.
This isn't on it. This is sewer, right?
Yeah, this is sewer, or if the topo's weird and there's a retaining wall that might be given away. I completely see it in that. But in any event, sold myself on it and basically went through the process of purchasing and renovating it.
Okay.
So specifically, this house was listed on FMLS last summer. I picked it up at towards the beginning of fall last year, and then I went through permitting. A lot of the houses that are on this street are what I was aiming for. The one that's right over there is about 3,000 square feet, and that's kind of the same size lot.
Which one?
I didn't want to go to that scale. It's the blue triangle top with the hardy plank on the side.
All right. Yeah, he's referring to that one right over there at the top of the dumpster.
Yep.
Right over there.
So very active street. There's tons of comps specifically on this street for rehab, and as you go further down to below, you'll see a lot of the 800,000 plus that are new construction.
We sure did.
So I know a lot of value is continuing to pour in here. Since I started construction on this, the house that's on Daniel, that's right down the street, that's a modern, it's about 750,000. And then 99 Daniel was going to be, I'm not sure what they're putting it out at, but it's also new construction, a football field away.
Hey, Chrissy, you remember Daniel Street? That house we used to be looking at over on Daniel Street? We are close to where we were that time.
Daniel Street or Daniel Avenue?
Daniel Avenue, so the modern is what we're talking about. So he took it off the market recently because they needed a door on the rear of it. So I think it's relisted now. I just saw more signs out.
My first rehab was on Daniel Avenue. Ever.
Really?
Yes. And my first rehab was on Daniel Avenue. And if you took a checklist of everything you shouldn't do, I checked every one of them.
By the way, do you have that checklist?
I do have
what
that
not to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. So, but it was, I mean, if you're talking 700-some thousand on that street, that area's come a long way in the 20 years I've been.
Yeah, it has. Well, I want to kind of go back to where we just started and the question he asked you and how you got this property. You said somebody was doing some kind of soil sample?
Yeah, someone was going to far extremes for their first purchase, and they were nervous.
Yeah.
So I continued to talk them through the finances of it, seeing
Yep.
the house, explaining the area, and in the process of doing that, I talked myself into it.
Yeah, we call that paralysis of analysis.
Yes, exactly.
Where you want to overanalyze everything before you can even make a move.
Yep, very
You know?
true.
And in this market, as competitive as it is and as fast as the good deals are going, you can't move that slow. You got to take some chances. You got to get in, get your contract. I'm sure you guys give a due diligence period, but it's not weeks.
Yeah, for the sale side, we do not have a due diligence. While the property is available to clients that come into our office and understand how we do our transactions, that's when they can come out and see the house.
Yep.
So technically he was not under a due diligence period, but we gave him enough time to where he could have all answers,
Yep.
all of his questions answered. And
So did he even have it under contract yet?
he did not.
Okay.
He gave
So
me a handshake deal. He said he was gonna sign the contract over the weekend. I went out of town. He continued to tell me he was going to. Ended up not, and then I stepped in.
Got cold feet. Got cold
Yep.
feet. Yeah, that happens.
So let's talk about the numbers.
Well, before we get into the numbers, let's talk about.
Sorry, I'm all busted.
That's okay. Let's talk about the house real quick. Several people would ask, what was this before?
Yeah,
Talk about what it was versus what you're turning it into. Then we'll get into the details of the numbers.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the houses on the street actually look like, I don't know if you can get a camera angle there.
I can.
These two houses that are here that are 1.5 stories, or they have a little half attic above them, that's exactly what this one looked like, except it was yellow. It had the original owner that had lived in it their entire lives. They kept the house in immaculate condition. All the hardwoods had carpet over them, so I tried to salvage as much of that as I could. And so, yeah, so very similar to that house, we took the roof off, and then we came down to basically the flooring, the foundation, and there's a couple of support studs that are still left, but other than that, it's a brand new house. So in the rear, there's actually a storage shed that is a pretty big signature for the Eastlake area. Although now, when they build new constructions, it's
Same color of the house used to
yeah,
be.
yeah. So yeah, that's the old color. It's that yellow. So a lot of the Eastlake houses, they have parking in the rear, and then they'll do like an in-law suite or storage above, depending on how someone wants to customize it. So we decided to keep that as an additional feature. It is finished out, or it's finished to electricity, and has a slab in, so it can be like an away office. So you can go out there. It could be a yoga studio, art. It could be storage. You keep your lawn equipment there if you wanted. But we thought that would be an interesting little signature for it.
Yeah. So how many square foot was the original house again?
The original square foot was, I think, John, do you remember? Oh, John ran away.
1184. Original about 1100.
Yeah, 1100, and then we've doubled that. We're right under 2100.
2100. Okay, because that was one of the questions we had earlier about how big are you going to make it.
Yep. So it's 2100 square feet ish. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath. Wow. So that's kind of what I aim at for all the houses that I do. I think the 4.3, 2,000 square feet is the right number that a lot of people look for, whether it's a young couple, a middle-aged couple with kids, or anybody in between. So,
So what area, like around here, what's the cost per square foot for 2,100 square feet?
So for 2,100 square feet for rehab, which is how we were building it, but how we're going to be actually selling it as a new construction down to foundation, we're going to probably be somewhere, I'd have to have John really answer that, but I would say somewhere around $85 a square foot. And that's pretty much what addition costs are.
That's your build cost.
Yeah.
What's your cost per square foot selling?
Oh, selling? It would be, I can run it up, but it would be,
That's okay. I was just curious.
I'm planning on selling this somewhere in the 575 to 600,000 range. So that's depending upon demand, but 2,100 divided by 575 is probably a safe number.
Yep.
Actually, reverse that 575.
You'll go. I'll let you go first. Hold it for a second. Hold that thought.
How many? How about your
2,100.
I can tell he's got some follow-up.
273?
273.
Okay. So 273 a square foot.
Wow.
Is what his cost is going. I mean his cost per square foot is. So
To sell.
85 is what you're building it for,
Which is really good.
which is really good.
Really, really good.
So I'd like to get into some of the costs associated with this,
Yeah.
starting with the very beginning.
Yep, and I will explain that this is a trending area. So when I first bought this property, it was on an ARV of 505,000. So I only had one comp close by that just sold at 495, and I thought that I could definitely beat that. So the original numbers are based on me trying to hit that number.
495.
505 is 500 is what I was
What do you
trying to
think
hit.
you'll sell it for again? What'd you say?
I think anything over 550 is very achievable. I think 575 is a really good number, and anybody here that wants to buy it for 600, finish it however they want, they can do it right now.
Okay. All right, let's talk about costs.
Yep.
You bought it for
Bought it for 260,000. So that's a really good rate for now. Now it's about 275. You'd love to find any type of deal below that, but if you go and look on FMLS or anything like that, I think 275 to 295 is the going rate right now.
So how much you buy it for again?
260.
Did you buy it for 260 knowing you were going to tear it down, or did you decide to do that after the fact?
Well, defining tear down, I knew I was going to be taking the roof off and popping the top, adding the top floor. What we ended up doing, just because costs were about the same for tear down, we went ahead and went with that step just so you could have a brand new envelope both on the bottom floor and top
Yeah,
floor.
because it looks like everything is new except for some of the floor there.
Yeah, some of the flooring and the foundation are pretty much the only things left. There's a couple of studs throughout for support, but apart from that, it's new construction.
So,
so 260 build cost. You're saying $85. That's what have you spent as it sits right now?
As it sits right now, so I have windows that are actually going to be, they were going to be arriving today, so that would have been a complete mess with both of us here. They're actually going to be delivered tomorrow. And a lot of these things I specifically customized to give it that unique signature, which is one of the reasons why we did the high pitch that it has. Customized windows throughout, and then higher upgrades in the kitchens and bathrooms. Those are where people see it first. They see the house, they walk in, they see the kitchen, and they see the bathrooms. So cost-wise, as of now, I'd say, John, again, I'm going to be guessing, but probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about $50,000 from framing, permitting, everything that's been done beforehand. We're going to have windows put in tomorrow. By the way, this is John Roth. This is my contractor.
So
you can
this
come
is
on over
what we got-
closer.
This
So
is what
John-
we got. 50 to this point, right?
Yeah.
To this point. That includes everything.
That includes demo,
permitting.
framing, trash out. We have a fireplace that we've purchased, but
But
hasn't
he's
been
holding
installed.
50 grand on.
Yeah,
No,
I'm holding
it's
it to make
obvious.
sure it goes well. No, I'm kidding. But we had to correct a couple of things. So other than that, it's really good.
Okay.
So John Roth is a contractor that I use personally, but also Networth does, and he does a lot of deals with a lot of different investors. He knows this area very well. He does multiple projects in this area. So if you guys have if you are interested in starting a project, you have questions for him, please reach out to him. He's a really, really great contact.
I have some in my pocket.
I hope you brought a bunch.
William.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, William. Now your experience, I hope. Okay.
Yeah.
You get bumpers now. Get
So
them out.
while they's passing out cards, I got a follow-up
Yes.
question.
Yep.
You got 50 into it so far for what we see. What is your budget?
So,
You know the sales game, guy.
so I was planning on about 150,000 in renovation. With the upgrades that I'm doing, it's going to be more like 175, especially hit the higher ARV for what I'm trying to in the area.
175 total?
175 for rehab, yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
Okay. That includes the 50 you've already spent.
Yes, correct.
So you're going to spend another 125.
125, finishing out everything, pouring a driveway into the rear. We're going to put a little bit of makeup on the shed in the rear just to have it match the rest of the exteriors. But yeah, that's about the number.
So as of right now, you're into it for 435.
Sounds right?
Okay.
And wants to get 550.
435.
I want to get 700.
Yeah.
Where I think I'll land, no, I'm just kidding. Where I think I'll land is somewhere around 550. I think there's a lot of houses that are nearby that are 1.5 stories and they have been completely redone. They're selling around 525 for what I'm giving. Where I like to operate when I do my houses is I like to be the highest level of renovation just below where new construction is. So I want a house that looks like new construction, feels like new construction, but is at rehab pricing. And that's a margin that I always try to hit with every single project that I do.
So are there key numbers for their benefit? Are there key numbers that you're looking at? Like for me, for example, I look at 3 numbers. Are there numbers that you look at that you have to hit before you say, okay, I'm done, or I won't do it?
In
What-
regards to
like for me-
purchasing it on the front.
Well, yeah,
Well, like
because
for me,
earlier you said you talked yourself into this one while you were explaining it to the
I
other
look-
folks.
I look for
Correct.
3
What
numbers.
sold
I
you?
look for profit, return, and loan to value ratio. Those, and if it doesn't hit my 3 numbers, all of them, I don't do it. Do you have anything like
Yeah,
that?
I have a net that I try to hit. So I have a gross of about 40 that I try to hit at all times. A true net of about 20 is what fabulous every deal would be.
Percent?
Yeah. So that's my aim on the front end. I build in a little bit of overrun to make sure that anything that happens at the house, I can still come out on the back end. And I look for areas that have value and they are in conservative markets, so they don't fluctuate with the cycle, with an economic cycle, or any type of correction to the market. I try to find a place that has value that is right at the point where it's going to hit a ceiling that I can see. So a ceiling here is about 800 to 900,000. A house hitting an average price for a house is over $1 million. You can probably only name 3 places in Atlanta that has that. So anything approaching that in new construction, that's showing that a ceiling is approaching, and then you want to be right below that at the highest rehab that's closest to new construction. That's how I work.
So you're saying you mimic the new construction homes?
Correct.
The rehab prices?
Yeah. Mimic, I create it. I truly create it. But value for my side for building, I try to keep it at rehab.
All right, you guys ready to open up some more questions? Since Damon kicked it off.
All right, what questions we got?
What was the as is? I'm talking about when you purchased it. What did you purchase it for?
260,000.
What's your cost for the tear down and hallway portion?
Probably around 15,000. About 15. And it was removing the house basically. So, and John's guys worked very, very quickly.
So, what percentage of the house do you have to demo in order to market it as new construction?
50% new materials can categorize you as new construction.
So,
Yep. So if you're doing a rehab and you add a floor to the top and then you do marginal changes on the bottom, as long as it's 50% new material into the house, it's categorized as new construction.
Really? Okay.
How do you measure it?
yeah.
So like with an express, just how they do every permit. So with an express permit, you can only move 50% or less of the floor on the main, and then you can't go outside of the perimeter of the house. It's the same concept, but in the other direction. So if you go and add 50% new, then you're averaging, or you're above 25%. So you're adding new construction.
Now, I'm sure you have variances. I mean, you don't even have to get a variance because you didn't move outside the or did you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because because the variance is if he would have put, like, you can see the distance between that house and this house. If he'd have moved closer any wall to a closer house, they would have had to have gone and gotten a variance, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So we actually, there was a garage that
I
was
was
here.
just going to say, and it probably wouldn't have been approved.
No, because we're actually doing one just several blocks from here. And when we put the second floor on, we wanted to stay on top of the house, and they actually made us come back to the setback on the second floor.
Yeah, so if he had like a little overhang, if you go out beyond that setback, they'll make you. They won't allow it. I mean, I've had people go and put a set of steps from their house and go 2 feet out further just on a set of steps, and they don't approve it because it's within that variance. You don't get the variance. You're not approved for the variance. So you'll see a lot of these homes in here. So this is a learning thing for you. When you take a house like this, like he did, and you take it down to the foundation, don't pull that foundation up.
Absolutely.
Do not pull that foundation up.
And when I first got this house, there was a garage, a very small garage that was original to the house. You couldn't even fit a golf cart inside of it. We took out that and then used that line for our setback on the side.
So, I mean, he's literally built onto the existing foundation, which allowed him to do a remodel, basically,
Yep.
versus new construction. So you'll see that a lot.
On that 50%, was it square footage or was it dollar amount?
Square footage. For categorizing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, square footage.
And on your $85 a square foot, did that include everything that you put inside the house, plus like your anticipated closing costs and all that?
No, that doesn't include closing costs, and that's an average number. That's not exact. I'm giving you an average.
And does that include like curb appeals, like the driveway and all that stuff?
Yeah, it includes a landscaping package. We're going to be pouring a driveway to go into the rear for parking. So that was another thing that I really liked, is you could take out the garage and then you could pour something to get in the back, because before you could only park right here. So that does include that.
But you need to tell them that prices have gone up because we
Prices
had to
have
go
gone
up.
up.
We had to go up 5 or 7% from the time you put it in to the time we actually started construction.
Yeah, so permitting for this house was about 3 to 4 months, which is about average for this area. So during the time period that we went through that, and then about a month for us to get cracking, supplies or material costs had gone up by about 5 to 7%. So I guess know that.
And labor.
And labor.
Not mine. I didn't make any.
I'm sorry?
What kind of issues have you had with this? That you didn't
John, you want to handle this? No, I'm just kidding.
What kind of challenges and problems was the question, if any?
The designer? No, I'm just.
Yeah.
That was going to
No,
be my
we-
question. Who designs?
No, I
this
wasn't
thing?
talking about the architect. That's different. I was talking about the designer. But that was the joke between.
Yeah, so,
But the architect had a couple of issues that weren't exactly right on paper, and we assumed, and we had to get a new meeting back together, and we had to make a couple of changes. But you know, it's
When
just
when
part
that
of the
happens,
process.
When that happens to you, who fronts the expense of that? The designer because it's his fault or her fault, or is it the? Or is
I believe we shared that.
yeah, it was shared. So I'll tell you right now, this is my second flip that I did. So I was creating a team, a crew to do all this together. So there were a lot of learning curves. There were some miscommunications, and you learn a lot when you set up complete strangers that are professionals in their own fields. They have their own way of working. Then you put them together. So you just kind of have to go through those bumps. And as long as everyone continues to communicate and doesn't get too headstrong on how their process works, as opposed to making it work for the team, that's kind of the biggest single item that we have handled since we got the house. So the architect had specific designs for the exterior, for the A-frame and how the exterior is supposed to look. So there was a little bit of change that needed to be done during the framing. And outside of that, there was some code stuff that we needed to handle on the inside, which was very
They
easy.
made you do that when The inspectors made you make those changes?
No, the inspectors did not. The architect really pushed that this was an accenting mark of the property.
Okay.
So
sometimes they'll make that choice for you.
Oh yeah. So there was so between the framers and the original plan, there was also some ceiling height issues. We wanted a clean 9 feet, and it just didn't come out the same in the plans. So when we first started looking at things that we needed to change, we did notice that on the bottom floor we needed to get as close to 9 feet as possible. So we actually had LVLs in there that were 1x12s.
Yeah, there were 2x12s.
2x12s, and then we cut them down to 2x8s, so we were able to get 4 more inches. So it's 8 feet 7 inches on the bottom floor, and then it's a clean 9 on the top. But because we kind of caught the mistake a little bit later, you'll see that some of the rooms, like the master, are trade, and that's to incorporate and get as much of that height as possible. And then we went back and corrected everything else on the second floor. So it's a clean 9 on the top, it's 8-7 on the bottom.
These are all LVLs running this way.
And those were probably the biggest issues that we had.
What's your time frame for something like this?
So I personally, you can get, once you have the permitting down, you can do permitting as quickly as 2 months to 3 months. There's a lot of learning curve there, but you can't get it down to that quick for areas like this. Construction, I would probably put somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 months, 4 to 5 months. So I would safely say putting it on market for 30 to 60 days, which these houses sell pretty quickly in this area, your all-in would be about 10 to 12 months.
Wow.
Is this City of Atlanta or DeRosa County?
This is City of Atlanta.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Permitting.
Yep.
Quick question. You say it was all in for how much? Or did you say that?
260 plus 175.
Plus 175.
Yep.
Okay, I have a question for everybody that comes and wants to do renovations. They always ask me about what's it cost. Just give them an idea. Permitting, something like this.
Permitting,
rough guesses, because I mean,
yeah.
they always want to put a finger on, okay, what's it going to cost? Because they've never done one.
Yep.
And so, if you can give them some ideas of, like you're having windows.
Yep.
Give them an idea of like what you're spending on windows.
You don't want to know how much I'm spending on windows. We get really, really nice windows on all the houses that we do, so we're probably right around 12,000, I think. You can do windows for as cheap as 5,000 to 8. I think that's pretty good. But you'll see as you walk through this house that we have 32 windows, which is a little bit of an overkill. We wanted a lot of natural light in there, as well as in the rear. We have a lot of windows stacked up around where the kitchen's supposed to be, because that's another focal point of why we're trying to sell it in that new construction range.
Okay. Permitting.
Permitting, I would probably put, once again, depends on the person that you're, the architect you're dealing with. Who I dealt with, who's Patrick Chopson. He's really good. I use him on a lot of different things. Frank Iglesias uses him as well. So he works with a lot of people in town. He has 3 architects that work with him in his firm. So I would suggest him big time.
What's his name?
Patrick Chopson. And so he operates on he has a base package. It's about $5,500. But then anything that comes to you as a bill from the city, so like demo, the actual permit from the city, anything like that, that's going to actually be a bill that comes to you. It goes directly to you, and you pay it. So
basically, you hire him, and he takes care of all that.
He takes care of all of it. He'll expedite as well, as long as he can. It's the city that allows it.
Do you know what a permit expediter does? I mean, obviously it's self-explanatory, but can you explain to them why you
rushes around?
Why do you go to someone like that versus doing it yourself? But you can do it yourself.
It's a great question.
Yeah, you got to learn how the rat maze works. Yes. And expediters are the rats that know where the cheese is. So you let them go, you pay them a little bit of a premium, but there could be the smallest thing, like someone not filing your paperwork or putting it on a cabinet behind where it's supposed to go. That can cost you months worth of it's nobody's fault. That's how the city works. And you really want somebody to know what they're doing when they're running around the city and trying to get that permit done as quickly as possible. Because that can cost you $3,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 very quickly.
So you paid the $5,500?
Yeah, $5,500. I probably paid about $2,500 for the actual demo and permit. So I would say about $8 would be all in.
That's a low number.
Yeah.
That's because he's really good at what he does.
Hi, Damon, do you have a question?
No, he just answered.
Very good.
Okay, so we got permitting out of the way. How about framing?
Framing, we were probably right around 20, I think 24,000.
No, more like 35.
35.
That's
So-
material and labor.
Yeah, material and labor.
For what you see.
Yeah.
Does that
And
include
there,
roof?
yes,
no?
Not the shingles.
not the shingles.
At the decking, just not the shingles. Okay.
And we had to go back and change a couple of things, so that can be
And
cheaper.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Every project you're going to do something more than one. I don't care who you are.
Yep. So, and that's about it for what's been done framing wise. We had to make sure we could get a fireplace in here. We're in the middle of doing rough plumbing right now. About to have an electrician out here, and the window's coming tomorrow. So we're going to be cranking out.
How many windows did you say you have?
32,
32?
I think. Yeah.
That's a pretty good price for switch window.
So 32 windows at 12,000. When you got a calculator? 375 a
Pretty
window.
good.
Installed.
That's
Yeah.
installed.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Just for good windows.
Everyone,
Yep.
I'm telling you, is everybody, you guys all come and say, hey, what do repairs cost? That's the big, there's two variables that most people struggle with. One is hitting what's the property going to be worth when you sell it, what's the ARV, and the second number that is the biggest variable is how much am I going to spend on it? What's my repair cost? So that's one of the reasons why we like to do this event. This is because you'll see different costs, but they're all going to come. You're going to see a lot of similar pricing. You know, it depends on also the higher end quality, like what you decide to put in. I'm assuming you're going to put in higher end fixtures, and I classify rehabs as A, B, and C. A being like Class A space for retail, and C being lipstick on that pig type renovation. So I'm going to assume this is going to be like an A renovation.
Yep. A minus, I would say. Not completely over the top,
There's a lot
but
more letters.
yeah.
There's a lot more letters.
Yeah.
There's a whole alphabet.
Yeah, but we'll definitely play. Fixtures is another thing we will spend more than the average person on. Windows, of course, and then quartz countertops, things of that nature, glass showers that are frameless. A lot of things that people just like as an optical.
This is pretty impressive for your second deal.
Yeah.
Real truly your second deal?
Yep, this is my second flip, and I can only thank real professionals that were helping me along the way.
So, advice to them?
Don't do
let
this
me ask
number.
Yeah.
let me ask you this. What was your first one?
It is a house over in Kirkwood, so it's very similar to exactly what I did here. It's on Clay Street, and it's same phase as this. So.
Okay, so these two were relatively within the last year.
Oh yeah, I bought both of these in about a 3-month period.
So they're both ongoing.
Yep.
Okay.
Both of them are right about this phase. The other one has windows and doors.
Who'd you use to finance your project?
I used my family. So they wanted to get into it. They have been in real estate. I come from a real estate background. So they knew that
Did
I
they help the project at all? Did they
Yes,
help
my
you?
mother-in-law is the interior designer. She does an amazing job. Every single house that I've seen growing up around them, she just does an amazing job with everything. She's very detail-oriented. So I am the digger. I find the property, tell her this is a good source, good thing to have. I put the crew in place, and then they really handle that other than me doing some problem solving.
What's the typical cost for an interior designer?
Interior designer, most of them, so someone like John will have somebody that can come in and help you. They usually have base packages depending on how much help you actually need. So if you want to be a part of it or you want to help pick out what the fixtures and finishes are, you're probably anywhere around $2,500 to $4,000. So it just depends on the scope, what they plan on helping
Is that
you
just
do.
for the design of it? That's just for the design?
That's for CADs, drawing. More than likely, they're going to be picking out a package. They'll be color coding it and numbering it for the GC to pick up or subcontractor to pick up and install in the house.
Hey, look who's here.
I got to tell you.
He's hiding back there. Manesh just showed up.
If you've never done this, highly recommend, especially for the males of the group, not to be sexist, but males typically don't have quite the eye that a female does on fixtures. And
I agree with that.
So if
What
you're
color?
if you are design challenged, it's worth every penny. Because once you start it and you think you can do it, it's hard to go back. It's hard to change stuff once you've done it. I mean, you can't change your mind halfway through and go, you know what, screw it, I want 9-foot ceilings now.
And if you pick an interior designer, more than likely they have other projects going on, so they know what's good in what areas, like what's selling, what colors are good, what fixtures make a certain house pop.
Style.
Yeah, what's the style at any given time? So I agree with Don. Highly suggest using an interior designer. Most GCs have one that works with them, so I would also try to do that as much as possible.
Look at their work.
Yes. Always, before you see anybody that works in real estate, go see one of their products. Because that's a good way to tell you how much they care about detail, how much they care. And by seeing that product, it probably reflects a lot on how they deal with relationships, how they deal with problems, anything like that.
Yeah,
A lot of times somebody will bring you an open book and say, okay, these are my projects. Well, find out when their last project was. Find out if they're working on one right now. Go visit the ones that they're working on right now.
We finished one last week and it sold already.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah, John has a bunch. If y'all need to see any of them, he's got plenty close by that he can show you.
Yep.
Got a question over here.
Yeah, how much staging do you plan on doing, and what's your budget for that?
So I've never done staging before. I definitely want to do it because I know that's some people when they walk into a house and they don't. Everybody here wants to be a real estate investor or involved with real estate. So they more than likely when y'all walk into a house, you can kind of envision what's there in the house or what can be, what's the possibilities. A lot of people, when they're buying a house, they have what they want in their head, and they're just trying to have that translated in front of them as quickly as possible. So an interior or finishing out the house and staging it is a really great thing. I think it's proven that it helps by about 10% on sales price. Yeah,
It helps a lot.
Trawenka, I know, has some really cool staging that he does in his houses, and that immediately takes you away from the areas that he builds in. You might be thinking, oh man, this might be a hedgy area. Then you go into a house, it feels comfortable, it feels luxurious. So I definitely suggest that.
I will tell you, are you doing open concept in here?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're doing open concept, staging isn't nice to have, it's an absolute necessity. The reason I say that is if you have an open concept, people have a hard time, especially if they are coming from a traditional style home that's not an open concept. They have furniture, they have walls that they put furniture on. When they walk into an open concept, even you, when you look at an open space, you're going to go, where's the TV go? Where's the couch go? Where's this go? Where's that go? You're going to have a very difficult time figuring out where that stuff should be. And if you have a hard time, when your buyer comes in here, if they can't see their furniture in here, they're going to have a hard time with it. Even if it's a beautiful open concept, you want them, the first thing they do when they walk in the house to go, wow, I can see myself living here. You're only really going to get that if you do staging. If you just have 4 walls painted, even if it's an open concept, you're going to get, oh, this is nice. You don't want this is nice. That is the kiss of death.
You'll say like, wow, I got to have this house.
Yes, you want that wow factor. If you don't get that when they first walk in the door, you've done something wrong.
So what does an average staging cost?
For this size, almost all homes, depending on their square foot, I mean, I can answer that if you want. I mean,
Yeah, and it also depends on how long you do the staging for.
Yeah, typically on houses like this, they'll go pretty fast. So you won't need them more than 3 months typically. Most staging companies will give you 3-month grace period of their stuff. Some will go longer, but typically you pay for 3 months, and then anything longer than that, you have to pay them more. You have to pay more money. Typical staging can be anywhere. If you find somebody that you can do it, the private individual can do it for $1,500. Typically, I'm going to tell you, you're going to probably spend between $2,000 and $3,000. And you're going to typically do the kitchen, the bathrooms, the master bedroom, and the living areas.
Yep.
For a
month or for the?
No, that's a one-time cost for that 3-month period. And then if it goes beyond that 3 months, then you may you may have to pay them a lump sum to keep the furniture in there, or you may, depending on the staging company, they may cost you a monthly fee.
It takes over 3 months to sell in an area like this. Something other than staging is very much wrong.
Something's wrong.
You've done something wrong.
Do they give you your money back for months you don't use them?
No.
So
Yeah,
if
right.
it sells quick, then you just, that's it.
Staging is the cost of doing business. Just think of it that way. It's the cost of doing business. Factor it into your deals. Don't even think about it. Don't try to shortcut it. Just do it.
And we'll show you some staging shots tomorrow at PPG, if you haven't seen them already, about what a big difference it makes.
It makes a huge difference. I was looking at a house. I was looking at comps today for a house that they did a very nice renovation, but the house wasn't staged. Okay? Similar renovation, if you kind of look at what they've done, same tile, same everything. Staged house sold immediately. Their house was on the market for 3 months. Still hasn't sold. They just dropped the price $9,000. Renovation is the same. The only difference, they didn't stage it. Now that may sound like that may not. Why would that be the case? But trust me, people walk in and they see a staged home. They envision themselves living there, and they forget about the walls. They look at the furniture. They can imagine themselves living in the home.
Yeah. They walk in and their jaw drops like,
Exactly.
wow, I gotta have this house.
You will not, very rarely will you ever get a, wow, this is really nice on a non-staged home. They'll say this is nice, but you won't get, wow. It just won't happen. Very rarely will it happen.
Any other questions? You want to take a look inside?
Yes.
All right, let's do
All
it.
right. Now, watch your step here. There's some shingles. Don't trip over them. We'll start wherever you want.
Yep.
So what was here?
So this beforehand, that was the door was right there. You came in. This was a fire. Yeah, this is a fireplace that was right here.
Okay.
And then you came around. There was a staircase that went up to the attic. And then this back part was the kitchen area. And then there was actually, that was the garage on this side. And then there was a little like porch area, like a covered porch area where this is. So what we did is we opened it all up, so complete open concept for the bottom floor. There's going to be a fireplace that goes right there. Then you'll have your seating area, living room right here. This is all going to be hardwoods all the way back to where this kitchen is. And then we wanted to have these big windows in the rear where you have your kitchen and dining area. So you can sit, you can look at this big lot that's in the rear. Fireplace, or I'm sorry, the island and cabinets, all of your kitchen's going to be right here. And you can tell they did really keep this place in really good condition. There's like brand new hardwoods underneath this, so we're going to try to salvage as much of these as possible. And then you can see that the ceiling height, we tried to go as high as we could. It's about 8 feet 7 inches right now.
That's where your fireplace is going to go?
Yep, fireplace go right over there. Then you have, as we walk around, the area that's up front is the true family room. It's a flex room, basically. So you can put a dining room in there. It can be for where kids play. You can set it up however you'd like, but we tried to keep it as flexible down here as possible. There's a bedroom that's going to be down here, but can also easily be an office. And then you have your full hallway back right there in the hallway. Pantry there, of course.
Now, go ahead.
I'm saying, for windows, what do you use? Any particular company, or you just
Completely interior designer, and I honestly don't handle issues like that. So she gets them from a specific supplier.
Now, I will point out, I want you to look up. Everybody, look up. You notice this lumber versus that lumber. What's the difference?
They're different colors.
They're different colors.
It's treated, right?
What's the difference? No.
They run in different ways. This one's running this way, that one's running that way.
Okay.
one of them is a pressed wood and one of them is a solid wood?
These are what's called laminated veneer beams. So if you take out walls, for example, and you need strength so that your ceiling doesn't sag, you'll notice these right here. This is just 2x8.
2x8. Yeah, 2x8.
These are 2x8s.
Sorry.
These normally would be, depending on where they are, but you're going to see 2 of them run here, 2 of them run here, and then you're going to see these are all called LVL beams. Those are, when you take out, that's going to handle most of all of your weight. Because these are true 2 inches, these are about an inch and a half. So when you take out a wall, for example, there used to be walls here, right?
Correct.
So when you take out these walls, you can't just go back over them and put, even if it's a 2x12 or something even larger with regular wood, it'll still sag because of the sheer weight. You have to use the LVLs. So obviously this is telling me there's no weight on this side of the house upstairs versus this side, because you'll see all of them. You'll see an LVL, a double LVL there and right here, and these are where the major weight is going to be.
This is where the, I don't mean to cut you off, but is this where the architect draws the plans?
The engineer, whoever the engineer was, where's Jeff? Who was your engineer?
Patrick Chopson was the architect. Not sure what engineer he is.
Okay, so now I noticed they ripped these down. All these were ripped. You said this was done to keep the floor elevation higher?
Yeah, they were 2x12s. They were removed, and we put 2x8s in.
Because they want to get the 8.7-inch ceiling.
Yeah, we were trying to get as close to 9 feet down here as possible.
Okay. And if you ever hear people talking about LVLs, you also see that these ties, and these are called Simpson ties right here, these little things, these brackets. And that's how you will typically, like if you were to take down a wall, for example, you get into a ranch that there's a wall going down the center and you want to do that. You'll be typically taking and putting 2 of these beams, see like that big beam that's right there. Generally speaking, you can't go more than 30 feet without going to a different type of beam.
So how much did adding a floor increase your profit margin? I'm assuming you did it for me.
Well, I don't know the profit margin yet because I haven't sold the house. I would like to think.
Projected profit.
Yeah, so it really just it's about because when we first found this mistake, we kind of looked at if you kept it at 8 feet, what would be the resale price, and we were thinking right around 30,000 would be the difference between bumping it up as close to 9 and putting 9 feet above, as opposed to keeping it 8 here and then going 9 upstairs, which would also be weird because then you have a more open feel upstairs as opposed to down. So this would feel like a basement almost.
Is there a reason for the beams going this direction and this direction?
John? I would be guessing, so I'm not really sure.
So is there a load-bearing wall like that you guys took away when you removed the roof?
Well, I don't know which way the rafters are going. I didn't pay attention.
But John,
Yes, sir.
Art's got a question for you.
Yes.
In this section of the house, the beams are going here, and the back is going the other direction. What's the reason for that?
The way the architect drew it, I guess. We just built it the way he drew it.
I knew that answer.
It's a structural engineering.
No specific reason.
I was going to say, I don't think there's a reason for it. I mean, they could have gone this way. I don't know that that's. They might. I was going to say it might be just a sheer cost of longer boards. That would be.
Sorry, I couldn't be some.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick question. I don't know if this is off topic. If this was an all brick house, how would it have been handled? If you want to pop the top on all brick house, because I know this is all wood, so what would be the difference?
So if you were to pop the top, which I actually, on the other house that I did, it was brick on the first floor, but because of the extent of termite damage, the house had been vacant for about 20 years. We actually took down the brick, we soldiered in from where the bottom is, so we just kind of made a different color, or a different pattern with the brick on the bottom, and then went hardy plank up. So a lot of people that do have bricks on their first floor and do go up, they put hardy plank up there. It's not worth it to re-brick the entire house on the upper floor.
But I'm not a big fan of painting brick, but even if you don't pop the top, let's say you take a window out or you close up a window or you move something. There's an argument there that when you do that, you can put any brick there as long as the brick type matches, may not be color matches, then that would be an argument for painting the brick.
Yeah.
So, and when you do that, make sure, like he's going to do this when he's saving these hardwood floors, and some of you may be going, how in the hell are you going to save these hardwood floors? Very easily, really.
Yeah, maybe not these, but definitely.
But so when they do that, make sure that your contractor, because I've seen some pretty awful horror stories where they don't feather the floor in, and what I mean by feathering it, they'll take and they'll just butt the
just
floor.
Like this.
Just
they'll go straight across.
Go straight across. That is the absolute. You need to make sure that when they feather them so that you can't tell. Because when he's done with this floor, you'll never be able to tell that part of it was 100 years old versus 2 days old. Same thing goes with brick too. A lot of times you'll see a brick where if you close up a door, for example, let's say we wanted to move this door and it was brick. Well, you got to take out the other bricks so that you feather the bricks in so it's not, when you're on the outside, it looks like a door that was just bricked in. Mm-hmm. So make sure when your contractor does that, and your contractor should know that. But, that's not always the case.
What had to be done in the crawl space to accommodate?
Sometimes you do have to do additional supports. So I have done that on other properties. I don't think we did anything here, right, John? There was no supports underneath. It was able to hold, because it had a half story above, so it was already...
yeah, we did have to add something.
Oh, there was some footage then.
There's another beam down in the middle of the house, so we had to add some piers and put a beam up.
Yeah, he is right, and I'm sorry. The front facade, we actually came out. If you look at the front, we actually redid some of the front in order to get that two-story window look on the left side. So I forgot about that.
LVL also?
We did, what is it called? Counter joisting. What do we do down there in order to take in the extra support on the front of the building?
We just had to add a small footing and some block work.
Yeah, we were planning on putting an LVL across to take in the support, but then we were thinking pouring the foundation to take in that weight is probably a better idea.
John, how far did they...
Structural engineer had to determine that?
Yes. And they said one, we went with the safer option. We went with more.
How far did they make you go down in foundation-wise to pour that? I'm just curious.
New piers for the new LVL.
Yeah.
Typically, you have to pour them 12 inches deep, like 24 by 24, and then they have to be 8 inches.
8 inches. I was curious.
Yep.
From a female standpoint, on the hardwood floors, since this is new construction, I personally would have torn these out into the wide plank ones because they're in. These look so old, like old style. Don't you think that's gonna?
That is completely up to.
I mean, I know you're doing it because of cost. I know it's like you're doing it because of cost, but the new thing is the wider plank.
Yeah, we're always up for what looks better. So we've kicked the idea back and forth. I really like the hardwoods.
Bamboo floors.
Yeah, bamboo is looks amazing, but is extremely expensive. So, yeah, that is an idea we're kicking around. I tried to salvage the hardwood, but when we started doing the actual framing, it rained. There was that period that rained for like 2 or 3 weeks. So a lot of them have warped. These have been protected because they have this coating on top. So it's possible.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
It wasn't a question, it was just a comment. Everybody we've worked with have wanted the original.
The original.
So we've done exactly what you're doing.
Yeah,
they
the
don't,
narrow.
They want the narrow. They want the old ones. They want
Real
what
wood.
was there, real wood.
Yeah, I personally would like to keep anything that's a part of the history of the building.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that I do when I look at properties is what can I...
People we deal with are looking for.
Yeah. As opposed to being in an area where it's a brand new house, you don't really feel like you're part of the neighborhood, to saying like this is the original flooring. I kind of feel like this is me as a part of this neighborhood.
Right.
I agree with that.
So you think it helps the selling point to have an older home to say that, oh, this home was built in the 40s or the
1920s or whatnot?
No, I think it's always it's a selling point to have history in a house.
Yes.
So,
What's your story?
yeah, what's your story?
Well, that's a great question because earlier you were talking about how if you replace 50%, you can consider it new construction.
Mm-hmm.
How much of the old must you keep to call it old?
Technically how the listing would be is that it's going to have the year built as the original year that's in the tax record, and then you list as a description that it's down to the studs or new construction outside of whatever was left. So I'm not really sure how you would look at it in the opposite direction.
I was curious because several people have asked that before.
Yeah. And some people might be selling on that point, that like maybe it was a house that was built in 1890
Right.
and you've updated everything, but you want to keep the prestige of it being a house built before 1900. I could definitely see that.
On your demo, do you have a problem with any asbestos, lead, all those?
No, we didn't have any on this house. That is something that I do take into consideration. You can tell by the siding that's used on most houses. If it has a wave underneath it, very high chance that it has asbestos in it.
Yeah.
But I don't think we had any big issues.
Okay.
40, I'm guessing it's somewhere in the 40s. I want to say 47. I'm sorry?
Did you have to level anything?
No, another reason why I really like this house is everything was in. The people that lived in this house kept very, very good. They took very good care of it. They had the original attic fan from the 40s. Like everything they had in it was working mechanically and original to the house, which was pretty astounding. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just got an update from Chrissy. Manesh wants to go to the Woodbine property.
Yeah, there's
So-
a house with history.
We want to start to wrap this one up, and if you guys are interested, we'll give out the other address if we want to go down there, if you guys want to go see that one too. So, how far would you say it would be from here?
Oh, very close. It's in Kirkwood. So if you go down Hosea Williams, you'll go to there's a popcorn store on the corner. It's called Mama or Papa's Popcorn. It is a Networth people.
If somebody can find out the address, we'll announce it. If any of the Networth guys are here. Say it again.
1571 Woodbine.
1571 Woodbine. 1571 Woodbine. All right, before we leave here, if I want to see the upstairs. But before we go see the upstairs, I want to ask you about
2 miles away.
I want to ask you about the kitchen real quick. What you're doing with the kitchen?
So kitchen is cabinetry and the countertops all the way around here. So from here all the way around, there'll be an island right here, and then seating right here for a kitchen table.
Okay.
And then this is one of the big things I pick when I pick houses is when you open the door, and Don was saying earlier, the wow factor. I always want the wow factor. So when that door opens, you can see big glass all the way through, see all the way to the back, see a big kitchen, and see a big, nice place for you to sit and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with all of mine.
What kind of cabinets are you using?
They're shaker, and actually I think we're going to go with black on this one, which interior designer is really kind of stressing more of a modern feel inside. Mm-hmm. So we are thinking black right now.
I think I heard you say quartz countertops.
Yep.
Yep. Because last night Manesh was saying that granite's the new Formica.
Oh yeah.
I got a kick out of that.
I like granite because something I learned recently is quartz is man-made. Yeah. So the patterns in quartz are natural, or I'm sorry, in granite are natural, and quartz it's man-made.
Didn't know that.
It's more expensive, but.
All right. Well, if you guys can clear a path, he's going to show us upstairs. Let him lead the way, if you don't mind.
Watch your head here.
Yeah, let me follow if you don't mind, since I got the camera. Thank you. Come on up.
William. Nice to meet you, man.
You put in vinyl windows?
Yeah, well, they're going to be, they're vinyl, yeah.
What was the question just then?
Windows, if they're vinyl.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the master. So we chose to tray the master, kind of give it its own unique feel. Yeah, definitely watch nails, anything on any work site. But yeah, thank you.
Watch out, Art.
Yeah, thank you.
Watch for nails, watch for loose boards, be careful. This is a job site. So this is the master we're in right now, if you missed that on the way up.
Yeah, so the master is trade. The rest of the upper floor is a clear 9 feet all the way across. And here you have the master bath along with the closet. So there's a lot of space back there.
So this is the master bath, everybody at home?
Okay, one question. See how the roof pitch goes this way? Mm-hmm. Which walls are load bearing?
It's a trick question from Don.
This way or this way?
He's asking everybody which are the load-bearing walls
Typically,
based
in a
on
house
looking at the
that the
rafters.
pitch goes this way.
Which should answer Art's previous question. At least part of it. Do you know the answer?
I don't know the answer. I said, which one of these walls are the load-bearing walls when you have a pitch going this way?
Well, there's none in here.
Yeah. Typically, when though any, all right, you see your rafters up there, how they're going this way. Mm-hmm. If you cut into any one of those, like when you put an elevator, if I were to go along one of these, the weight on one of them is much less than if I were to take a wall and put it across all of these this way. So however your ceiling's going this way, so if you take any wall downstairs, that's why all these LVLs are going this way. And not as, worry less about them going this way because the weight is obviously in the center, but it's
In here, this is where the LVO is under the house, right on this wall.
right here, right in the center, down here, but then it branches out and goes this way. Because each one of these, how do I explain it? So, if you were to have a wall going right down, see where that center line is? If you have a wall that's going right down the center, let's say this is a ranch style home. Okay, this is a ranch where you have the ceiling that pitches like this, and then you have a wall going right down the center. If you take a wall and then you have walls going off to the side, so you have one going down the center, and then you have different walls going out. You can take these walls going this way, down, but you cannot take the wall going down the center because all the weight of each one of these rafters is sitting on that. So if you take those out, the weight, it sags. If you take the weight going on one of these, the rest of the weight is supported by the other rafters and what it's sitting on. Does that make sense, everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when you're looking at, you got to go up in the attic and you got to figure out what load-bearing walls are. If you're new at this, get a contractor. He'll be able to tell you. He probably has built it, and built walls that he can tell you. But generally, as a good rule of thumb, if your pitch is like this, the load-bearing walls run down the center or that direction.
Question for William.
Yes.
Is this one big shower? You putting a tub in here? Or
Yeah,
what?
it's one big shower. We're going to try to put,
It's pretty big.
a lot of houses are doing the big showers with tubs inside of them. That's something a lot of the new construction people are doing. And then, so we actually decided to go with a large shower with multiple heads. So that's what we're going to be putting in there, all glass.
Will there be a tub anywhere else in the house?
No, well, there'll be tubs in the other 2 bathrooms. Okay. So definitely need a tub somewhere in the house.
Right. All right, any other questions while we're up here?
So yeah, the rest of it over there is Jack and Jill. So you have the front and back, and then you have a full in between. We'll have sliding doors to enter into the Jack and Jill full bath, and then a laundry room right here. So this is the master. Yep, this is the master laundry, and then a Jack and Jill.
So this is the laundry room I'm standing in right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, there's the, okay. Nice view of the backyard. Real nice sized lot.
I'm sorry? Yep, literally right here.
Yeah, I heard you say it's a 4-3?
Yeah, 4-3. It's
Sorry.
2,090 something square feet, 2,100 square feet.
Real nice high ceilings. This must be the Jack and Jill bathroom. Yep, because there's the closet. Nice big rooms. This is the other closet. You can see how they did some of the creative framing there.
Yeah, electrical cost, I budget for about $150 a month. So just whatever it takes to either put a generator or the
No. The electrician come in and wire.
Sorry, I have it back on now. The electrician, so there's several phases to the electrical, especially if you're basically putting a brand new system in.
Right.
The actual, like the overall number is right around 7,000, and that's for new panel, running the wire, roughing and finish, and then any type of additional stuff or anything that is messed up needs to be come back and fixed.
Okay, so he'll come back once the drywall guys are done and finish off the...
Correct. He's about to start tomorrow with the rough.
Okay.
And then they're going to be putting windows in tomorrow. Rough plumbing will be going after that. And then it will be sealed in, and then hopefully be going quick from there.
Okay, plumbing about the same price you think
For
all the plumbing?
Plumbing will be cheaper. It'll be somewhere in the 5,000 range.
5,000.
Yeah.
How much did you say?
Yeah, electrical anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000, depending on the size of it. If you can save the panel itself, it's about $1,000 to $1,500, and then just labor for what they charge.
What are you looking at for HVAC?
HVAC will do 2-3 tons, so upstairs and down. So pretty standard. It's what I do in the majority of houses that are over 2,000 square feet, over 1,800 really.
So you recommend
Cost for the units, just overall. So full package. Again, it's going to have a rough and a finish. You're going to be probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'd have to look at a spreadsheet. I'm really guessing at this point. I would say 4,000 a piece, so 8,000 total.
So you would recommend 2 HVAC units for a house over?
Anything that's a full 2 stories and over even like 1,600 to 1,800 square feet. You don't have to go with 3 tons. They're smaller than that, or you could go with
8,000 for 2, right?
for 2-3 tons. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you guys got any final questions before we wrap up and go over to Woodbine?
Oh, I do have one more question.
Yeah.
So say you had a house that was like a 1.5, right? And you were adding to the top story, making a full of 2 stories. And you wanted to raise the ceiling height in here. How much do you think that would cost just to raise the ceiling? Or
So you're taking the roof off. If it's a half story, you're taking it off, and then at that point, it's whatever you want it to be. So once you remove the roof, whether it's 1 story
so
or a half story,
the whole roof to do that?
yes, yeah. If they wanted to keep it a half story, so not this house, but the one after it, that is a 1.5 story that they came in and rehabbed, and I think they already sold. They may be putting on the market right now.
Okay, so but if they wanted to make it a 2 story, they're gonna have to remove the whole roof.
Yep. So that's really not a concern. Once you take the roof off, you can design the floor however you'd like.
All right. Let's give it up for William for being here today, showing us his house. Appreciate it, William. Chrissy, what's that address real quick for Woodbine?
1541 Woodbine.
1571.
And I think Manesh is there now, so.
Yeah, she left a while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
1571. 1571.
1571 Woodbine. And Don wanted me to remind everybody that tomorrow at the City of Light is the
So the
PPG group, the Property Protege group. Everybody's invited. We also have a creative deal structuring workshop this weekend in Atlanta at the City of Light on the 21st. So tomorrow's PPG at 7 p.m. at the City of Light, 3125 Presidential Parkway. And then we get the creative deal structuring workshop this weekend at the City of Light, 3125 Presidential Parkway. Check out AtlantaREIA.com for details. If you are still here and hanging around on Facebook. I want to let you know that we are going to over to Woodbine to see another property, and we will try to put it up on Facebook Live, but no promises. That was kind of a bonus. So thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate it. We're logging off for now. All right, everybody. We're at the on-site renovation group bonus session. Manesh Hardeo had another property on Woodbine. We're waiting for him to arrive. We all left the other property, all kind of came here and had a little trouble finding the place, but we found it. So we are at 1571 Woodbine Avenue. I think it's southeast, right across the street from a nice little park in Kirkwood. What'd you say, Art?
Maybe he got lost.
He went and looked at another deal, apparently. Thought he was going to beat us back and didn't. So we're just letting everybody who's going to join us on Facebook Live give them a chance to find us. We do have a key to the place. So we're just waiting for Manesh to get here to show us around. But I'll show you some exterior shots real quick. This is a historical type rehab from what I hear. I'm not sure how far along it is. But another gorgeous house right next door to it. And another real nice rehab or new construction here. Real nice house here. And it's a little private street. It forks off up ahead, so it's like a cul-de-sac, and nobody comes down here but the owners and us on a day like today. And then right across the street, some nice little park. I didn't catch the name on the way in. It's just a nice little area. So we're going to get started here shortly. Still waiting on Manesh to come. Here he is. He's here.
Yeah. That's myself. And that's the property.
Manesh. Yeah, just get mic'd up and you'll be ready to go. Yeah.
All right, everyone, stay off the grass, please. This is her grass.
Yeah, it's their lawn, not his lawn. I wasn't sure myself.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when we bought it either. Yes. That's their lawn, yeah.
You're not on yet?
Huh?
No.
They bought that, I think, in 06 for like $380.
Mark it.
Just unmute it whenever you're ready.
Something.
Unmute it?
You're good. You're on. You're
okay.
hot.
All right, guys. Welcome to 1571 Woodbine Avenue.
Something.
This house has been a wonderful pain in
Probably
the
in
butt.
the sevens.
Come on in.
Oh yeah. How long you had it?
We've had this house for probably about 4 or 5 months. Our original plan was to subdivide the lot. That didn't quite work out the way we wanted it to. It can still happen, but we're going to go ahead and renovate the house. Luckily, the values have gone up. If you look back there, they I don't know how many of you guys pay attention to the curb, but the highest priced house in Kirkwood was just listed. It's a modern, and it was listed for $750,000.
Okay. Yeah, you got two nice neighbors right here. And you just said subdivide the lot. I don't see much of a lot here because we're standing in your neighbor's lawn.
When we go in the house and go to the back.
Okay. I was just commenting on the lot. If you see the grass here, that's the neighbor's front yard.
So so on the ground level, there's actually a full apartment with full kitchen, bathroom, and everything. So we'll go down there afterwards.
Okay.
Are you gonna leave it as an apartment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This house is very unique. There's nothing like it in Kirkwood. It was actually built in 1910, and it's an old school farmhouse. 1910.
It's an oldie.
So when you come in, you look
1910.
1910.
You come in here, you see we have 14-foot ceilings in this home.
Wow.
This is pretty neat. Very high ceilings. These appliances, we're getting rid of these. I told them these aren't sufficient for this house. So
What y'all gonna do with them?
we're sending them back. We're gonna get better ones.
I'm sending them back tonight.
Yeah.
supplier?
Yeah, to the contractor. They brought us the wrong ones. So in the kitchen, it's pretty small. So this house has a lot of character, but it has a lot of things that probably aren't going to be appealing to some people because it has smaller bedrooms and a smaller kitchen. But it has a 1910, character. 14-foot ceilings, a lot of open space, and, 1910 old fire stack that we're definitely going to keep. I mean, it's pretty cool. You don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
And in the backyard,
Did he tell you? Did you say it already? How many square feet?
it's about 24 and change.
With the apartment?
It's below it. That's including the apartment. Yeah. So it's a 3-2 on the main. Here are main level and ground levels at 1-1. So we're gonna gut the kitchen. We're gonna put on new shaker style cabinets. Now you notice it's really linear, not much to it. So we're going to replace it. Fairly similar concept with the pantry over there. We're gonna leave open shelving here though. And we're going to put open shelving on that side and on this side as well, so that we have something more for storage. There's just not much here, but I think that should be sufficient enough because it didn't make sense, and there's not enough room. There's not 4 feet here to put cabinets on that side, so that's what we're going to do on this end. Full pantry with washer dryer. It's huge in that corner. So we're going to put some updated shelving in there.
Have you thought about taking?
That's what Chrissy was just asking.
About it. But we're going to use it for the shelving, and we didn't think the added cost was worth it to really open it up. We'd lose some of that space. It's kind of tricky. I didn't know what else to do.
Is there another space up there?
No, that's the roof, right? Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't know if this was added at some point or what, but unfortunately, that's just what it is. So we're just going to do some pendant lighting here. As you can see, the old original hardwoods, we're just going to have these refinished, and we're going to be going back with these tiles in the kitchen, and that bathroom. In the master, we're going to go with like an all white look. The backyard. This is where you'll see the other part. Yes, ma'am.
I want her to check your mic real quick. It's rattling a little bit, get a little bit of feedback. It usually does that when it needs screwed in a little bit tighter. Give us 1 second, folks.
It could be.
It could be this too. It sounds okay now, but it was in his back pocket, so it might have been flopping around.
Maybe I hold it.
Here, guys.
Yeah, or clip it to your belt.
Clip it to the belt.
Yep. You're good now. It's not doing it.
Okay. So the backyard here, as you can tell, it goes straight through to Paxton.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the very cool part about this house, and that was the original plan. We had it sold. We were going to wholesale it, and we were talking. I alluded to this last night at the meeting. Had a gentleman that was going to subdivide it for us, and stole a bunch of money and ran off. So never happened. So here we are, and I'm rehabbing it. So no biggie. The values are still good here. We'll still do all right. So I'm not too worried about it.
So
Can you put another house there?
can you?
With a few things, we have. Sorry, we have to. We are shy 137 square feet of 15,000, which at that point we can subdivide to 2 R4A lots. I believe.
How much?
15,000, so you can have
So how many
270.
square feet?
137.
Can you buy 137?
So yeah, so it would be more than that. We would buy from the neighbor.
Yeah.
We'd have to buy a strip. She's open to it. We've had meetings, but it's going to take too long, and the time and it's just not worth it for me at this point to do that. So I think we're just going to fix up, sell it. It's not a guarantee, but we're going to give it, bring it up as an option to the potential buyer and say, hey, this is something that you can do, potentially subdivide it down the road and pay off, a third or almost half your house probably by that time. So can't promise it, but it's a
the
possibility.
lady next door, hers is on 0.18 acres.
Wow, that's crazy.
That
one right there?
The lady that works there.
She's the one that used to own this, I think.
Was that?
I think. I don't know. So anyway, the deck out here, so you guys will see as we go back inside that the bedrooms are small. It's kind of is what it is with a 1910 house. We didn't want to lose the bedroom count, so we were going to use some other factors, I think, that can help sell the house, and one of which is we have beautiful weather like we do today in Atlanta, is to put a very large deck overlooking the park, and because that's Cone Park right across the street. So I don't know if you guys noticed from the kitchen, you were looking at Cone Park. So I think it's a big positive to help kind of offset the lack of bedroom space. We failed the framing inspection on this Friday, so we're going to get a few things fixed. I've been calling my contractor. He's not answering today, but they failed something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
is that what it is?
Yes.
So what is it supposed to be?
One, yeah.
For what?
So for this cruise ship, you got only one.
Oh, okay.
You are listening here, so I can't just run, choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the bolts? The bolts? Oh,
More bolts, more support.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how they had it, yeah.
So the ledger board, this board that's
Yes.
going along here, it has to go up and down? Like staggering, like a...
Stagger it, so we stagger it. Yeah, they gotta be staggered.
Oh, two between each
Yes.
that are up and down. Gotcha.
So you
they would know
you
that
guys
from Home Depot.
are learning that even the pros have issues.
Yeah, it's sloppy, it's just sloppy.
So we're spending about 60,000 on the reno.
Yeah.
You guys are going to send us there?
Yeah, we're extending the deck out to there. So this will all be one big deck. Yeah. So the deck, just so you guys are.
Yeah, plus like a put away.
Oh, so you mean like one down here and then one up here?
Staggered and then put away. Is where it's been right.
So.
That's the thing about story.
So I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but Manesh was saying that the deck they just put on didn't pass its inspection yet, so they've got to come back out and make some changes.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Well,
I've been calling him. He probably knows I'm going to yell at him.
Yeah, Don's had a few challenges where things like this come back to bite him. You assume these guys know these things, but unless you specifically tell them, sometimes they don't. Just how you were saying earlier today that you assume your contractor knows to do these things, and you don't always specifically tell them, and the few times you didn't specifically tell them, it comes back to bite you in the butt.
Painter would know not to paint the ceiling the same color, the walls the same color. So I guess these the boards on here, you would assume that.
Or you said you assume they would feather in the bricks, but they don't always do it, or they'd feather in the floors and they don't always do it.
All right, so we'll move on.
We'll follow you.
Well, let's come and stand down here and look up.
Okay.
The roof on this house. There's a driveway out there. I'm actually parked back there.
I was wondering how you got here, because I kept waiting for you to pull up.
To make it more desirable.
So there is a driveway.
But can you finish this to make it more like a...
You know, because of the fact that that is a possibility for them to subdivide at some point, I really don't want to put money into that. I want to leave that for them to make their decision. I'm going to put the money here and leave that for them.
What if you just sold that part?
Well, that's what we were trying. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's a possibility down the road. So we'll have to talk to the neighbor.
I didn't pay too careful attention on the way in, but where do you park? Park back here, or do you park up front?
I would guess that when you live here, you probably end up parking back here and probably making some kind of extension to come back here, or just parking at the end of the driveway. I mean, it's right on the other side of the dumpster there. So.
Okay. That's a long way to haul groceries.
Yeah.
And what's the 100 and something square feet you said you were trying to buy? Like, where would that be?
There would be a strip on this side somewhere.
Just straight shoot back? Wow.
Whatever the city would want us to do. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a nice lot.
It's a nice lot. So I think between the lot size, the character, and hopefully it'll sell well. So the roof was a very odd size, very odd shape. So I had quotes from 15 grand. I went with my subcontractor. He did it for 7 grand. So just so you guys are aware, 7 grand for a brand new architectural. We replaced all the windows in this house. Obviously, you can see by that window there. It's a different size, so it was a little more expensive. It ended up running about $400 or so bucks per window.
That's the window you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about last time. So these windows are, a little bit more expensive, but we think we put about $600 to $800 or so in replacing all of the windows throughout the whole house. All right, let's go back inside.
Hey, do you guys mind if I follow? Since I got the camera, sorry.
We're going to be repainting and scraping and repainting all these stairways out front and back here as well. Yeah, it's totally separate. We thought about that. We thought about maybe we should put, maybe take space from one of these bedrooms to. It's just the added cost for our situation didn't make sense. So we're going to keep it as a fully separate apartment.
So how did you acquire this one?
We were, this was one of our wholesale deals that we acquired that we had sold, and like I said, we were going through the process of getting that approval, and that gentleman ran out on us. So but just got to be careful.
What made you decide to not wholesale it, but to keep it for yourself?
Oh, I had no choice because nobody would buy it at that point without the approval for the subdivision. So I got stuck with it.
Yep. Well, a lot of people ask wholesalers such as yourself, and Mike Chouang gets this all the time, because you guys are primarily wholesalers. Well, if it's such a great deal, why are you selling it? How come you're not fixing and flipping it yourself? And his answer was very similar to what you just said. He said, I'm a wholesaler. I wholesale them all. But the ones that don't sell, that scare my clients, I fix them myself.
I do, yeah, and that's pretty much what I do. If it's a situation where we have to close on it and we have to keep it, I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to deal with it myself and take it head on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to practice something I don't preach.
And this turned into some of his favorite projects.
Yeah. So as you can see, bedroom, very simple.
Wow. I love these high ceilings.
These ceilings are amazing. We
watch your step. There's some broken glass in here.
Glass down here, guys, so be careful. We thought about closing and drywalling this wall in to just keep it a truly separate bedroom. We decided to keep it in the event that they had a baby or something. If it gets to the point where we're going to sell it and this becomes an issue, hey, we'll do. If you buy it for this price, we'll fill this in. So we'll kind of leave it as an option. We just needed to save money where we can. We're going to dress this up and keep it because it's original.
It's closed off, but are you going to make it functional, or is it just for looks?
Yeah, it's just for looks.
Okay.
This is the master in here.
This is the master.
So as you can tell, again, the master is not huge, but has a ton of character. Bathroom is really big. This closet wasn't the best functionally, so we're going to remove these so that you can have more access in and out throughout the closet and make it more functional. And we're going to add a barn door here. Barn door, obviously, so because your bedroom's small as it is, we need to get rid of this door because it's taking up too much space.
Yeah.
Master bath. So this was, trying to remember, this was a little funky. We had a little vanity here. We had our toilet here. And then we had a weird shower here. So it was kind of a lot of dead space. So we decided we're going to put where you're kind of standing, Dustin, we're going to put a stand-up linen closet built in. And we're going to build a custom double here. Keep the toilet where it is. And as you can see, we're starting to frame out the master shower now to make it much larger. And you're going to have a big stand-up shower with a big glazed-in glass that you can see through, and go with some nice white, a nice white marble or something like that in here to really make it pop. Yeah, it's a nice bathroom.
The numbers. What are the numbers?
I think by the time we're going to be all said and done, we're probably going to be all in for 425 or so, 430. And we're looking to probably sell in the 525.
Are
Okay.
you gonna take this out? Or you leave it?
We're going to paint it. I'm not sure of the exact color. That's my wife's thing. But we're going to paint it and keep it. And to Don DeRosa's point earlier about staging, I typically don't stage them if they're priced right and it's kind of a traditional floor plan. But something like this, I think we're going to have to. Because I myself have no idea where you're going to fit what. So I don't know where you guys could see it, but I don't know.
Now, why do you want to take this out?
Why? Just because it's a 1910 original fire stack. People love this stuff.
Historical.
People eat it up.
It's a historical house.
And yeah,
Me?
going up to the
I
ceiling.
want it gone.
Yeah. To remove that would be a giant
It's
pain.
not
It
functional.
doesn't work.
I want it gone.
It's purely decorative.
Ah, okay.
It's too hard to, I wrote
Yeah, the added cost and everything, I think we're going to see, I mean, if it really becomes a problem, but so far my feedback to date for everyone that's coming here that is a consumer is that they've really loved it.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It is an interesting amenity. But it's in the middle of. I would love for
It's
it to
purely
be,
for looks.
I would love for it to be right where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect there.
Yeah, it'd be great if it was that
So
way.
maybe you do that. I was going to say, is it possible to move that?
The cost to move that thing without damaging it and the rest of the house is just not worth it.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go down and see the apartment.
What's in here, man? Another bedroom?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is
You started to show
the
us.
other shower. Yeah. This we're gonna keep this one pretty simple. We're just gonna do a nicer vanity. We're gonna glaze that and just keep it for cost cutting measures and come down with a new tile, new frame mirror. We're gonna update all that. And this is really gonna be a really tiny bedroom, office, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
What is it, 3 bedrooms?
So we got
It's a
three.
3-bedroom, 2-bath up, and a 1 down.
So 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Be careful for the registers that are in. Huh?
Hey, watch your step, folks. There's some open registers. Do not step through one of them.
Nobody wanted to buy it if they couldn't have the approval on the subdivision.
So they didn't want just the one. They want
Right, yeah. But luckily with the time that I've held it, values have gone up, so it's actually working out in my favor. Like, it's actually helped.
This is it's a 1910 home.
So earlier I was asking about parking, and you can see there is room here to park. You wanted to, looks like.
You can, it's a pretty good space. You can probably park 4 there pretty easily.
Yeah.
Or if you have,
It definitely beat parking way out in the back.
Yeah. Or if you have somebody renting out the bottom unit separately.
Kind of like Airbnb or something?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I just said. This would be a great Airbnb.
Airbnb. Yeah.
It would be a great Airbnb because of the layout
Yeah,
and
we're gonna
everything.
keep that guy. Oh yeah.
Layout, the
It's pretty cool.
location.
This looks like an old church pew.
I think it actually is.
It's got to be.
This is to my understanding, I don't know. It's funky, man.
They're talking about the funkiness of the way the lots are divided here. You can see the fence row coming down here right to the corner of the front porch. Then how the lot kind of juts out a little bit. And basically this is his lot line right there.
Yeah.
It's this nice lawn, like I said earlier, with the neighbors.
Whole separate in-law suite. So you have a full kitchen. We're actually going to keep the cabinets and paint them and put them back with some granite tops.
So if you can hear what he's saying in there, is that this is an
As you can
apartment.
see, we've repaired some rotten subfloor there. New tile in the bathroom, and then we're going to glaze the shower.
Now, you guys watch your step carefully.
That's a good point.
If you're going to poke around in here.
Actually, that's a
So,
good point. I may ask.
there's a,
Thank you for saying that. I might.
Can you get upstairs from down here? No.
Hey guys, be careful. Be careful with your steps.
Be careful. Sorry. Trying to clear out some of this stuff. You can't move this.
Your upstairs bathroom?
That would be pretty
That's what
badass.
you need to do. You got enough room up there.
I do.
What are you showing off there, Don?
I just said upstairs in the bathroom. The
Yeah, let's see.
bathroom, to give this some, is
That's
to
what
do,
William's doing.
is to do
Is that a double vanity though, or is that single?
This is a double vanity.
It is, okay.
You won't be able to put a double vanity in
Yeah,
it,
that's
but you'll be able
it.
to open. You take that bathroom, and that
Yeah,
whole
that's
back
right.
space.
That would create
That
some,
would create
some
a-
wow.
So this is where I'm using Home Depot right now. They're by the book. So they're like, they didn't want me to. I thought I brought that up. They didn't want. They'd have to change the plans to move the plumbing around.
Well,
I know, not just more time.
Yeah.
So
But this will give you a wow.
That'll be a big wow.
That would give you a wow.
I can quote that out.
Master?
Huh?
That was the master show?
Yeah. I mean, give yourself something if you're not gonna. Because
Oh, wow.
remember, you got kitchens and baths that sell the house.
Yeah.
If your kitchen is kind of limited on what you can do with it, you gotta have to figure out something. You gotta make that bathroom where someone goes, okay, I can, you know, whoever's gonna spend the most of the time.
that was part of the debate on making it bigger, or there also wasn't much storage space for linen. So we were like, oh, do we do the double with the linen, or do we? I don't know. That was kind of the debate.
Yeah.
It was cheaper to go with the double with the linen. That's why we did it.
Yeah.
But we should see. Anyway, full apartment down here, so it's pretty awesome. I think someone can rent
So
this
this
out.
could be an Airbnb right here.
Yeah, and I didn't hear your answer, but can you get upstairs from in here?
No.
Okay, so it's totally separate entrance.
Totally separate.
So I said this would be a great Airbnb.
The whole house would be a great Airbnb.
Yeah, it's a really cool house. I mean,
Especially this location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be.
Manesh, you should keep
Yeah.
you should keep and do Airbnb.
Yeah, Airbnb, you like double, triple your normal monthly rents, and they don't care what the kitchen looks like.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't care there's a fireplace in the middle of, in fact, they probably think it's pretty cool.
Take it for the fireplace.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, give it a theme.
Got a lot of character.
Yeah, in the 1910 farmhouse, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, not much more to it here, but
Well, I didn't see what was in there.
So and here's the bedroom and huge closet. So
It's just as big as a bedroom.
All right, you guys watch your step. Be careful.
the bathroom's actually over there, and it is a full bath, so you can take a look at it.
So this is a big walk-in closet. It's bigger than the master upstairs. It's nice and cool down here.
Putting about 60 into it. And that's us bare bonesing it.
You can see with the tile he's going with down here.
But, you know, obviously with our situation, we had to be, yeah. I mean, we thought about it, but man, the added cost to do it.
That's the only thing you have to walk from. Well,
I haven't seen a door that narrow in a while.
yeah, where's the bathroom at?
Right there.
So you have to go there.
You fit through the door?
I got some friends that will not.
I didn't want to get stuck.
Yeah, I got some friends that will not fit through there.
We're, you know, based on what we're seeing.
But back in the day, they laid them out like this, where you have to go through the little kitchen area to get to the restroom.
I'm thinking some people have said listed at $550. I was thinking $525. I don't really know yet. I'm gonna kind of wait and see what our competition is at the time. But somewhere in this range. What's the buy for? I don't remember. I want to be all in for like $430.
So when do you think it'll be finished?
Well, granted the inspection hadn't failed. He was saying another 2 weeks to just knock it out. So I don't know. I'm hoping within the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
And they're going to really start accelerating.
Is Will still here?
I don't think he is.
What do you estimate his projected finish time would be?
Will is he's got to be another couple months.
Okay.
Probably another 60 days at least.
Definitely want to come back and maybe see one of these or both.
Sure.
In the near future.
We can do that. Not a
Yeah.
problem at all.
Yeah, we want to see that, especially his, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
This is going to be finished in 3 weeks? Damn, I
That's
want your
what he was saying.
contractors. I want your contractors.
Well, he didn't know how to put the deck on, so.
Yeah, maybe don't. Yeah.
All right. All good?
All right.
Yeah, good. All good.
Yeah.
You guys got any final questions for Manesh before you turn off the mics? This was a bonus session. Any final questions? We appreciate you guys all coming out. Did you guys enjoy the on-site renovation group today? Yeah. Every once in a while we will do a little bonus like this. We'll try to come back and visit some of these when they're completely done, especially after I'd like to see Will's all finished up and staged. That'd be great. Just hit mute on there for me. Yep, that way it's not rattling. There you go, perfect. All right, so Don wanted me to remind you that we have the Property Protege group tomorrow night at the City of Light at 3125 Presidential Parkway. It is for PPG members only. However, You can come attend your first meeting at no charge to come check it out, see if group coaching may be something you may be interested in. What's that?
We're going to be talking about wraparound mortgages.
Okay. Amongst other things, we're going to be talking about deal structuring. We're going to be talking about marketing. And the educational topic of the evening is wraparound mortgages, buying houses creatively, which is going to segue into the weekend workshop this weekend on the 21st at the Presidential Parkway, 3125, on creative deal structuring, where you're not always buying houses all cash. Maybe some cash, maybe no cash, but buying them creatively, using owner financing, wraparound mortgages, subject to, lease options, lease purchases, you name it. A lot of other ways to buy properties. So you guys come and check us out tomorrow night if you can, or this Saturday for the Creative Deal Structuring Workshop. If you want any information about either one of those two things, Don and Chrissy over here in the corner, just ask them. They got some VIP passes. They have some order forms for the workshop. And if you're an Atlanta REIA member and you renew your membership, you can come at no charge. If you're a non-member and decide to join, you can come at no charge this weekend. This is our gift to you for joining as a thank you. So we appreciate it, Manesh. Any closing remarks?
No remarks at all. Just go out there and buy houses.
All right, man. Tell them how to get a hold of you and your boys if they want you to find them some houses.
Yeah, if you guys want to reach out to us at the office, you can call us at 678-321-6061. Again, 678-321-6061.
And what's your website?
NetworthRealtyUSA.com.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you at another meeting again real soon.
Appreciate it.
Woohoo!